everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, we are Americans that live in the United Kingdom, specifically England. And today we're going to be exploring that fact by talking to you guys a little bit about US versus UK grocery stores by touring our local Sainsbury's.
But before we get into that, my name's Jordan Beck.
And I'm Elytra Beck.
And together we are Around the World of Beck. And we have the goal of hitting 50 countries and 50 US states, while also doing some very local things.
All right, let's do it. Now, there are a lot of differences between US and UK grocery stores, but one of the similarities is that for the most part, they're pretty much laid out the same. So you're gonna have fresh flowers, produce in the front, then you're gonna have home decor, dry goods, that kind of thing towards the front as well. And then in the back, you're gonna get to your more cold and frozen stuff. But let's get into some of the differences because that's the part that I think is a little bit more interesting.
The first thing we have to get out of the way is going to be the name differences, with the first being a supermarket or a grocer, whereas in the States they call it a grocery store. The other things for name differences are going to be what's available here, and that's going to be a courgette versus a zucchini, or a trolley versus a shopping cart. So here in the UK, there's a variety of different stores, but not nearly as many as there are in the US. For starters, here in the UK, you have Sainsbury's, Tesco, Aldi, Waitrose, Asda, and Morrison's. Whereas in the States, it's kind of divided by regions. So you've got Publix, H-E-B, Wegmans, you've got Hy-Vee, you've got Target, and you've also got places like Walmart where I used to work. Another thing that is different here compared to the US stores, is that US stores, a lot of the refrigerated items are behind doors. Here they don't really have that. As you can see, they just kind of quite open. And on very, very hot days, they actually pull down the curtains to try to keep the air in, which is a little strange to us, but hey, first time for everything. You'll have to shop a couple of times a week as things here don't last as long as in the States, including the milk. And as you walk through these refrigerated aisles, as an American, you would expect to find eggs. One thing I am a little disappointed about Sainsbury's is their Mexican food aisle. It's really just this tiny little corner, but that's understandable as they don't really have an influence for Mexican food here in the UK. Whereas in the States, they have a lot of different chains that are based on Tex-Mex, and they have the Mexican border there on the south part of the US. So completely understandable. But one area they do excel at is the Indian food. One thing we do want to check out when we get back to the States is going to be the British section in American stores. We want to see what that's like. So if you're interested, stay tuned.
I do think it would be really interesting to see what they put in the British food section in America, because it's always fun to see it here. Just like the random things that they pick up as being very Americanized, but I digress. Here, they have different things like in their dry goods section, in addition to international food, such as crisps, or as we would call them, chips in America. And I think one of the biggest differences that you'll see is that here they have a lot of these individually packed. So it says 6 packs, where in the States it would be like a family size bag and all the chips are together. And to us, some of the crisp flavors are a little bit interesting. Like cheese and onions may not be something that you see all the time. Prawn cocktail is really common. You'll see things like steak. I mean, like we definitely have our crazy flavors in the States, but just these ones seem extra crazy to us because we're not used to it. But we did a whole video specifically about crisps because there are just so many of them and they're just so different than what we're experiencing in the States. Breakfast food options are so much more sensible here than they are in the States, but I would say arguably not as fun. Definitely miss some of the sugary, delicious cereals that I grew up with, but here you're gonna find things that are definitely more nutritious for you. Just, I would say not as many varieties, but that's kind of a common theme. In terms of the freezer section, I would say probably about the same in both locations. The big difference being that in the US, this would most likely have a sliding door on it, not freezing the air like it is here. But it works both ways. And for us, it's really fun to see fun things that, or at least fun to us, like shepherd's pie, steak and ale pie, Yorkshire pudding. It's really common food items here, but for us, it always feels like a novelty item when we see them. Reminds us where we're at.
Next to the frozen section at Sainsbury's is the alcoholic beverages. They have quite an impressive selection, including an entire section dedicated to ciders. Due to the prohibition in the United States, ciders are not as popular as compared to normal alcoholic drinks such as beer. One of the biggest differences between the US and the UK is that some of the stores in the US are not allowed to sell alcohol on certain days and times. For those wine enjoyers out there, there's also a massive selection of different wines from all over Europe and the UK. Probably not something as common in the US, as I would think most of the wine's probably going to come from California as it's local compared to international shipping. Towards the back, you'll also find your non-alcoholic beverages such as Coke, Pepsi, sparkling water, and lots of other drinks.
Towards the back of the store, you will find the bakery, which might be the most well done part. Not only do you have fresh baked bread and cookies and that kind of thing, but you also find recipes by Dame Mary Berry herself. And next to that is the Sushi Shop, which arguably a little picked over the day that we went.
Probably one of the best additions to Sainsbury's and other markets in the UK is that the customer is responsible for bringing their produce to the scale located near the produce to weigh them, to then get a tag that you take to checkout and scan to get the correct price. In the US, you just take it to the cash register and they weigh it there at checkout, which I think takes up a lot of extra time, especially when there's a long queue.
When it comes to checkout, it's pretty similar in the UK as it is to the US. However, there are a couple components that is just a little altered. For one, when it comes to bringing your own bags, it is pretty much mandatory in the UK that that's what you're going to do. If you forget to bring your bag, you're either going to be carrying your groceries out in your hands, or they do have bags for life that you can purchase, but you do pay per bag. Where in the States, it would just be kind of given to you as many bags as you would need, and they wouldn't really be intended to be used again. The other aspect is self-checkout. I feel like it's a little bit more pushed here. There might be only 1 or 2 lines open with a cashier, and we prefer self-checkout. It means that we don't have to talk to people as often.
And that's pretty much going to close out the video, much like how the store is about to close in the next couple of minutes. And it's only 8 o'clock.
Yeah, in the States, like that wouldn't be a thing. I guess another fun little difference.
So if you enjoyed this sort of video, let us know down in the comments below. We love doing this sort of stuff and just trying out some local things.
Yeah, let us know what more things you want to see, what we can compare and contrast in our little time that we got left here. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.